Hello everyone, this is Larry with our stories. Today's story is Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. Wait Till Your Father Gets Home began as a one-shot animated segment on Paramount's Love American Style series on ABC TV on February 11th, 1972. Entitled Love and the Old-Fashioned Father, it served as the pilot for the syndicated 1972 through 1974 series. The pilot was originally purchased by the NBC-owned stations to help fill up the new FCC primetime access rule time slot. The series was created by Harvey Bullock and R.S. Allen. It showcased the generation gap clashes between Dad Harry Boyle, voiced by Tom Bosley, and his three modern-day kids, Chet, Alice, and Jamie. In its second year, the show did feature many celebrity guest voices, including Don Knotts, Phyllis Diller, Dawn Addams, Rich Little, Jonathan Winters, and Monty Hall. Now this was around the same time that many of these stars also lent their voices to another Hanna-Barbera cartoon, that was the new Scooby-Doo movies. Other voices included Joan Gerber as Irma Boyle, Christina Holland as daughter Alice, David Hayward as son Chet. He was replaced by Lenny Weinrib in season 2, Jackie Haley as youngest son Jamie, and comedian Jack Burns as the vigilante neighbor Ralph. Now, you may remember the father, Tom Bosley, as Mr. Cunningham from Happy Days, and also Jackie Haley was the Bad News Bears. He was Kelly Leak, the motorcycle kid, and also the new Freddy movies, Nightmare on Elm Street. He was Freddy. And let's see. Originally, it's syndicated by Rhodes Productions. The Hanna-Barbera cartoon was rerun in the U.S. on the Cartoon Network. Now, it premiered September 1st, 1972. The last air was November 1st, 1974. And the airtime schedule, it was on CBS on Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. So that was prime time. And that was the last primetime cartoon that aired on TV until The Simpsons aired. And it ran 49 total episodes. Now, Wait Till Your Father Gets Home was a 30-minute animation show, of course, in the early to late 1970s. It was way ahead of the likes of Simpsons and Married with Children. It focused around a house on Elm Street owned by the Boyle family. Harry was the father, Irma the mother, Alice the teenage daughter, and Chet and Jamie were the oldest and youngest sons, and also the dog Julius. Now, the show chronicled the lives of the Boyles. They were your average 1970s American family, so if you were growing up around that time, you would really understand how this family worked. Now, Harry Boyle, he was the father. He owned a restaurant supply company, and Irma, she portrays the typical housewife at the time. You know, she cared for the house and the kids while the father worked. Now, she did have an occasional independent flair. One of the episodes, she did find a job, but she only lasted there, a few weeks until she really did decide, hey, I do need to be at home. And Harry, they have 3 children, of course, like I said, Chet, Alice, and Jamie. Chet is a college dropout at 22. He spends most of his time sleeping. Alice is a round 16-year-old, and she's always helping her mother try to be independent. Jamie's the capitalist of the family. He always wants money to leave the room. If there's conversation going on and they ask him to leave, he's always like, how much is it going to cost? Now he's only 9 years old, so just think of how that goes. And the show is set in the suburbs of Los Angeles, on Elm Street to be precise. And to balance out Harry's conservatism, there is Ralph Kane, and he's Harry's neighbor. He's right-wing, he's militant, he's a vigilante. He's fanatically intolerant, and potentially violent obsession allows him, the disapproving Harry, to appear reasonable and sympathetic in comparison. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. I'm going to play a video, or audio actually, of the theme song, and then I'll come back and list some of the episodes that I liked. So, I'm going to stop now.
I love my mom and dad and my brothers too, and the groovy way we get along.
Every time the slightest little little thing goes wrong, and Mom starts to sing this familiar song.
Wait till your father gets, until your father gets, wait till your father gets home.
Dad's not so bad, and he seldom gets mad.
And we aren't about to desert him. Kids today like to have their own way, and what Daddy doesn't know won't hurt him. I think my mom's just swell.
Then she starts to yell.
Every time we have a fuss, just wait till your father
Alright, I'm back. I hope you guys liked the theme and remembered it. I want to give you guys my 3 favorite episodes. Episode number 5, Help Wanted. It first aired October 10th, 1972. And Harry fires his Jewish driver because he was getting old and wrecking. And he soon has to learn that this was a big mistake. Now all the minorities try to get one of their own the job. The African Americans, the gay community, the natives, and the Chicanos. And for a cartoon, this really delves into some racial overtones and things like that. So to me, that was a good episode, you know, to learn about things like that. So number 5, Help Wanted. Number 11, episode 11, Duty Calls. It first aired October 21st, 1972. And Chet gets his enlistment papers, but he doesn't want to follow them, so he devises a plan to skip the country and go to Canada. Now, I don't want to tell you guys the spoilers, but you'll have to watch that one to find out what happens. That's Duty Calls, episode 11. Episode 23, Papa in New York, first aired February 13th, 1973. And Harry has to go to New York for business, and his family and his neighbor Ralph, they want to join him on the trip. Now, during the trip, everyone does have fun except for Harry, but this is the reason why I like this one is it's the first cartoon that I had ever watched that actually went to, you know, from one state, California, to another, New York. So that I like that episode. Papa in New York, episode 23. And also, I want to, at the end of this, I'm going to play a bit about, it's a little play from the thing that I have. I have a season, a complete season of Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. And at the end, it shows a little bit of, you know, background on the show. So I'm going to play that, but I wanted to let you guys know that was my 3 favorites, and you also can go on YouTube and watch a few of the episodes just to refresh your memory, or if you're new to it, you can catch a new, you know, a classic cartoon. Alright guys, well, thank you for listening. This has been Larry with Our Stories. Have a great day.
Humor is always the best medium in which to teach or illuminate or expose, because it's done with a light touch, and it kind of lets the viewer laugh at it but also realize the point or observation or insight that's being provided you.
All we can do now is stop all the immigrants.
I think the family could associate with whatever character they wanted to. The dad who comes home from a hard day's work and he turns on this funny television show could sit there and say, oh man, I've got the same problem.
Some family, huh?
His kids sitting right next to him could sit there and identify with Chet and Alice and Jamie and go, Dad, are you listening? Are you listening, Dad?
The world is on the brink of disaster from war, pollution, and overpopulation.
These shows help Americans recognize the changes that were happening in their very lives, whether they had appreciated them before or not. And hopefully we're stronger because of it.